Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I am Xu Xingchen from CGTN. Welcome to the 4th Supply Chain Expo, centered on the smart manufacturing integration, new quality productive forces, empowering collaborative innovation across global industrial chains. And we have set panel discussions.
CGTN China Global Television Network. Welcome to the Advanced Manufacturing Thematic event of the 4th China International Supply Chain Expo, centered on the theme integration of smart manufacturing, new quality productive forces, empowering collaborative innovation in global industrial chains. Shall we begin?
Now, let's welcome Mr. Li Xingqian, Vice Chairman of CCPIT, for the opening remarks. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, dear entrepreneurs, good morning. It's a great pleasure to be here in Beijing for the 4th Supply Chain Expo, for the thematic event on advanced manufacturing. Here, on behalf of CCPIT, I'd like to extend a warm welcome and gratitude to the friends who have given us support and who attend this event. As General President Xi said, with the deep development of China's supply chain, the integration of the global entrepreneurs are a general trend. In the morning of 22nd June, Premier Ding Xuexiang has given the remarks that the high-level opening of China's global supply chain has given confidence to the global economy, and the advanced manufacturing is key to enhance resilience and security of the global economy. So on this supply chain expo, we have over 100 enterprises from China and abroad to showcase the outcomes on the whole supply chain. Today, focusing on smart manufacturing integration and new quality productivity and innovation, we are building a platform for high-level communication and cooperation to enhance the upstream and downstream enterprises to work together. With the global advanced manufacturing has transformed from focusing on volume to quality, and this transformation for the advanced manufacturing, especially the advanced manufacturing field, to facing more challenges and transformations. And here I'd like to share 3 points of view. First, enhance open innovation, and so lay a solid foundation for advanced manufacturing. We support the leading enterprises to build associations and enhance high-end manufacturing and core components to research together and promote the outcomes of basic research to get utilization in the market. Second, deepen the connection between AI and the system to promote digital technology and deepen the utilization to make a deeper connection between devices and the data so as to realize the transformation from just one pot data use to collaborative systematic utilization. 3. Deepen the room for more advanced utilization based on low carbon technology and promote the promotion globally for this technology and the certification, cooperation, and make green competitivity to transform it to the global economic outcomes. As the biggest institution on economic promotion, CCPIT has promoted with full efforts for enterprises, home and abroad, to cooperate together. Looking ahead, we are willing to further play our role as the facilitating factor for enterprises, home and abroad, to work in advanced manufacturing and further build more dynamic and resilient and efficient global supply chain. At the end, wish this event complete success and wish you good health and smooth work. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Li Xingqian. Welcome to the booth and for the advanced manufacturing. I believe you can have good benefit. Now let's welcome Yan Dingda, Vice Chairman of China Machinery Industry Federation. Welcome. Distinguished leaders, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. At this beautiful season of summer, it's a great pleasure to be with you for this thematic event on advanced manufacturing to discuss together for the opportunities in this field and to connect to the world and usher into the future. As one of the organizers, CCMIF has co-building this platform. That's our honor. And on behalf of CNIF, I'd like to extend warm welcome to all the guests here and our gratitude to all the friends who have given us so much support. Manufacturing is the foundation of all the industries, and it accounts for about 22% of all the national industries and 25% and 2/3 of equipment manufacturing. China's manufacturing has been on the level of digital, intelligent, and collaborative. And now we have got some breakthroughs on the advanced manufacturing. And during the 14th five-year plan, 42.6% has been gained, which is higher than that of the national level, and we have gained an increase of 43.8%. The business scale has been 3.2 billion. That's an increase of 45.9%, and compared to that of 2022, we got 3 consecutive years of increase and more contribution to the industry and manufacturing. During the 14th five-year plan, in consecutive 5 years, we have got great big leaps. In 61% was gained during those 5 years, and in this during this time, they all increase.
And a lot of equipment manufacturing has been on the rise. And for 300 MW and the heavyweight gas turbine, we have made major breakthroughs. For the 1,000 MW civil power generator, we have entered into the utilization stage. Hualong 1 has entered the world's most leading third generation power generator, and in terms of the 26 MW offshore power integration and high precision 5 bearings, we have made major breakthroughs. And in terms of the large-scale 5-axis bearings, we have made important engineering application for high-end machinery, agricultural machinery, and instruments and technical products. We have made major breakthroughs as well. This excellent performance has been benefiting from our strong foundation of industry and the strong manufacturing base, as well as a full-fledged industrial chain, supply chain, and a supporting system. And for a long time, we followed reform and opening up, and we have also followed innovation-driven strategy, and we focus on smart manufacturing, and we have made major breakthroughs in key technologies, and we have also complemented the shortcomings of industry chain, and we have also connected the dots along the industrial chain and supply chain, and we have improved the quality from low-end to high-end manufacturing and the creation from single chain to the whole chain. And in this way, we have contributed to the global manufacturing industry with new impetus. This year is the opening year of the 15th five-year plan. On behalf of this occasion, I want to share with you the machinery industry 15th five-year plan outlined by our institution and association. I want to share with you the important 15th five-year plan outlining agricultural machinery, autos, and electric and electronics, and about 29 special planning and professional planning, science, technology, quality, standards, and brands, and about 13 specific planning. For the machinery industry, we will serve as the major action plan to implement national strategies. And for the outline, we have also promoted the high quality development. To do the high quality development, we have focused on the important link. And in terms of reform and opening up, we focus on the impetus as well for the high-end and intelligent and green development, and integrated development and globalized development. At the higher level, we can achieve the quality, scale, and business performance and efficiency improvement. In this way, we can consolidate the fruits of the strong manufacturing country, and the machinery industry will be elevated into the high-end level of the global manufacturing. And this is the support for Chinese manufacturing in modernization era. We have 6 important tasks, such as the comprehensive improvement of the supply chain and industry chain and resilience. First, we need to make major breakthroughs in the core technologies and deal with the black bottlenecks. For the key priority areas, we should improve the supporting policies and infrastructure. and enhance manufacturing and modernization and upstream and downstream connection and collaboration and synergy. Second, create global top-notch manufacturing industries such as SMEs, and SMEs should also follow the path of professional and high-end path. We should also optimize the integration standard and the system. Third, we should also support transformation of leading enterprises such as the smart factory and the leading factory and plant. And we have the special campaign for SMEs. They can renovate their equipment and data migration onto the cloud and onto the platform and the digital innovation and renovation. And AI Plus is an important priority as well. Smart manufacturing is a new ecosystem. Fourth, we should strengthen opening up and cooperation and promote leading export of goods to brands plus investment. We support enterprises to achieve localization in foreign countries and regions and achieve global cooperation and synergy in industrial chain and supply chain across the whole world. During the 15th five-year plan, we should consolidate the socialism with Chinese characteristics with our strong industry base, and we have the tasks to upgrade our business and our manufacturing industry. The Federation will serve as the leading industry to work with all of the parties involved. We should serve the government, serve the industry, and serve the members and the society. These are the four services concepts. We serve as a bridge and bond. We work with 43 federations and institutions and societies and academic research institutions to elevate industry elevation and transformation and boost the local industry upgrading and focus on the high-quality development of machinery industry. With the opportunities from the new quality productive forces, our federation will work with all of the whole industry with solid determination and pragmatic approach and high-level service. We can promote the machinery industry high-quality development. In this way, we can also contribute to the strong manufacturing country and Chinese modernization. I wish this event a full success, and I wish all of the leaders, all of the guests, all of the colleagues sound health and every success in your business and career. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Ye. Now let's welcome second-level inspector from the Department 1 of the Equipment Industry of the Ministry of Industry and Information Technology, MIT, Ms. Su Baoli. Welcome. Respected guests at home abroad, respected business leaders and representatives, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, good morning. I'm very honored to attend the 4th China International Supply Chain Expo, the Advanced Manufacturing Session. On behalf of the Department 1 of the Equipment Industry of MIT, I extend my welcome to all of you. I also want to say thank you to CCPIT for building this platform. In these years, smart manufacturing is an important choice for Chinese government. It is an important task to serve the national strategy through technical breakthroughs, demonstration, and standards formulation. And multiple measures, we can promote smart manufacturing and integrated development. First, we have yielded major fruits in smart and advanced manufacturing with major breakthroughs, smart equipment and industry software and system integration and high-end numeric toolings and industries and in manufacturing industry software. We have promoted important progress and we have a lot of self-owned and self-proprietary solutions. We can support manufacturing industries and transformation. Second, for smart manufacturing industry, we have expanded the scale. For industry equipment and system solution and the industry scale, we have also exceeded 4.5 trillion RMB. The same time in terms of smart manufacturing and the industry robot and the smart inspection equipment, these industries have also been growing along the way. We have also 770 billion RMB in terms of the smart detection equipment. And smart factory is on the rise. We have the smart factory elevation project. We have 35,000 fundamental level and 85,000 middle level and 15 leading smart factories. In this way, we can share the manufacturing and auto-guided manufacturing and household appliances manufacturing. We can elevate the quality and efficiency of different industries. Fourth, smart manufacturing standards and systems have been on the rise. Standards as is a priority. We have the smart standards coordination. We have also organized national strategies of the standards. We have 500 national standards and 52 international standards. Smart manufacturing and maturity models have been built, and a lot of domestic and international enterprises have also adopted our standards. We have provided Chinese wisdom. Dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, AI is also moving towards different sectors. Smart manufacturing and expertise and management have been integrating. Our smart manufacturing system has been migrated from standards to systems. We have also been elevating our game from the State Council's 6th meeting. Smart manufacturing has been an important strategy in the 15th five-year plan. MIT will work with all of the stakeholders to start our planning and promote smart manufacturing. First, we'll strengthen technology design and strengthen the digital transformation. We'll focus on AI and smart manufacturing, and we have enhanced fine management and enhanced the guidelines of smart manufacturing. Take a holistic approach for the network-based development and the smart upgrading for enterprises. They have the rules, paths to follow and the standards to follow. Technical breakthroughs and take the highland of industry innovation. AI and manufacturing should be integrated. We should also build high-quality industry data sets. Robotics should be shifted into the agents and cultivate different scenarios for the light modules. Agents should be developed to promote the production model. Third, we also cultivate the role models and demonstration and serve as the benchmarks and enhance the smart factory as well as the industry level smart manufacturing benchmark. We focus on the smart manufacturing base and steel and petrochemical industry and build the leading factories and the super application scenario from the single spot to the whole picture. We enhance the whole elevation and adoption. Fourth, we should also enhance the manufacturing base for industry system and agent collaboration. Different standards should also be enhanced, and we should empower the application and enhance the specific application of smart manufacturing for safe and sound global industrial chain ecosystem with a major guarantee. Dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, this expo has been hosted for 4 years in a row. This has become an important platform for our cooperation. We hope friends from home and abroad should focus on the smart manufacturing integration with new quality productive forces. As the engine, we can create the new chapter for the future of global collaborative innovation across the industrial chain. I wish this event for success. Thank you.
Now, please join
Thank
me in a
you,
warm
Mrs. Su.
round of applause to welcome Mr. Muhammad Kandi, Global Chairman of PwC, to deliver his remarks. 有请普华永道全球主席穆罕默德先生发表致辞。
distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is a privilege to be back in Beijing and an honor to join you for this important discussion on the future of advanced manufacturing. Last year, I came to this Expo for the first time. I have returned because I believe what happens here matters, not only to the companies in this room, but to the shape of the global economy itself. The China International Supply Chain Expo is built on a simple, powerful idea that value is created by bringing things together, connecting upstream to downstream, connecting large enterprises to small ones, connecting Chinese industry to the world. And nowhere is that idea more alive than in advanced manufacturing. China understands this well. Through sustained investment in research, talent, and infrastructure, China has built one of the most sophisticated manufacturing ecosystems on Earth and given real meaning to the idea of new quality productive forces. It is a fitting place to ask the question before us today: what comes next? Here's what we are saying. Manufacturing is entering a new phase. The conversation is no longer about production. It is about how technology, data, artificial intelligence, and physical infrastructure come together to create new sources of growth. Our PwC research shows that manufacturers expect highly automated operations to increase significantly by 2030. At the same time, many expect a growing share of future revenue to come from activities beyond the traditional core businesses. That tells us something important. Industry boundaries are becoming less rigid. A vehicle company now sells energy and digital services. A factory becomes a data platform. The line between the physical and the digital is dissolving, and that is reshaping every supply chain in this room. Physical products are still essential, but they are becoming part of a much broader value proposition. This shift is especially important in Asia Pacific. As companies rethink supply chains, energy systems, data architectures, and production networks, many of the decisions that shape future growth will be made here in Asia Pacific. But this opportunity comes with a hard truth. According to a recent PwC AI performance study, about 75% of AI economic gains are being captured by just 20% of the companies. The ambition is everywhere. The returns are not. And the single biggest reason for it is not the technology. It is how the technology is used. Too many companies are running experiments today, instead of transforming at the core of the businesses. So what separates the leaders? Only a small handful of companies have done four things at once: embedded AI across the enterprise, modernized the data, redesigned how they work, and connected all end-to-end from the suppliers to the customers. That group is small, but they are outperforming everyone else. This is the core of what I want to leave you with today. The leaders of this era will not be those that adopt AI the fastest. There will be those that integrate it to the deepest in the businesses and will treat it not as an efficiency or productivity play, but as a new true reinvention of how they run the business and create value. Two things will decide who succeeds. The first one is people, not technology, people. The most powerful results come not from replacing your workforce, but from pairing it with technology, using AI to amplify human expertise. The second is trust. Trust. The same AI performance study found that organizations leading in AI adoption are significantly more likely to have clear governance and responsible AI frameworks in place. Trust in this world is not an abstract construct. It shapes how quickly organizations can adopt new technologies, how confidently people use them, and ultimately how much value they create. And trust, in the end, is what this Expo is for. It's why we're all here together. None of these challenges, not integration, not reinvention, not technology, no trust, will be solved by any one company or any one country working alone. They will be solved here, together, in conversations like the ones that are happening here with all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Conti. Definitely AI is everywhere. It's no longer just the size of the company, but that capability. 谢谢康姆德先生。习近平总书记指出，立足实体经济这个根基，做大做强。
President Xi mentioned that we should strengthen smart manufacturing. We should also enhance our traditional industry and cultivate new manufacturing industry and deploy the future industry and strengthen the manufacturing base and support the modern industry system. To promote high quality development, we should focus on the present and look into the future. And look at today's meeting, and we should look at the key components, manufacturing and smart industry, and smart manufacturing base and manufacturing chain, and the smart industrial chain and supply chain. These are the future. We focus on low altitude economy chain, and SciTech can drive the high quality development. This is the new quality productive forces. At the same time, we should also establish the innovation chain, and we connect the dots from the whole industry, from IP to technical incubation. We support industry innovation and support the integration.
Now let's proceed to the first thematic discussion with the theme of technological innovation and industrial transformation pathways. And the speakers are Mr. Zhou Liu Xiaodong, Senior Manager, Computer Network Information Center, Mr. Zhou Dongfang, Deputy General Manager of Telecom, Mr. Hu Jianjun, Vice President of Siemens, Mr. Jia Jingling, Deputy CEO of Siemens Group, Mr. Xiaodong, Vice President of AGC. Welcome. Thank you. For the advanced manufacturing, it breaks the barrier for this whole supply chain. But for now, the advanced manufacturing, we have seen some problems in this. For example, the integration of AI with this industry and with the internet and the transformation rates and the standard, various standards. So first, I'd like all the guests to discuss a question that for the technology, it's not equals to the competitiveness of the industry, but in the practice, the key part. What's the key part in this process? What's your take on this? Now, well, I'm from Telecom, and we focus on the engineer planning, and in the advanced manufacturing, we think from the singular to systematic way, including how AI can enable the whole industry and in practice. We think it's important for the knowledge in AI to how to use it and break the barriers and link the upstream and downstream corporations. And I think that is the key in this process, and we're building the center for industry data and utilization so as to bridge the gap. That's what our focus on. From perspective of Siemens, we have done a lot of thing in advanced manufacturing, and we have other industries. You have mentioned that the technological innovation or breakthroughs does not necessarily represent the promotion and practice in the industry or the emerging of this industry. So that we think from the perspective of AI, the AI in customers and in our daily lives, they are very fast proceeding, and no matter you're old or you're young, you can get access to AI and you can use them very quickly. But in factories, including the intelligence threshold is very high. The key is to find the right scenario to use it and to link it to business. And from the structure perspective, how can we, in the advanced manufacturing, the software, how the software, hardware, the data, and the knowledge, to link them together, and that's what you said. It seems that you have got succeed in POC, but you don't know how to make it to the real practice. For the single corporation, when we use AI as a case in the typical scenario, no matter in research, in design, or logistics, supply chain, the quality, including the green, low-carbon scenarios, the application of AI is in singular chains. The data are not integrated enough. So that's the chain in this Expo is the key, because we need to connect the software, hardware, the knowledge, and to put this into the scenario of the real utilization. And the clusters of the industries are also the theme of this Expo. How we can connect upstream and downstream connections, make it a chain, or get a network. That in that case, we have a lot of work to do. Thank you. Okay, host said about something about AI, and today's topic's advanced manufacturing. How can we transform from traditional manufacturing to advanced? So from my perspective, how can we to release our value? That's what I was thinking about. As the manufacturing, it's an industry with a long chain from one end to the other. It's very long. So in this fourth expo, we have advocated a supply chain plus. So what's the plus part? First, we standing in our practice, I have three aspects to share. The first is transformation from traditional to advanced to intelligent. The first is about mechanism. How can the production to give the issue, the scenario, and the research institutions to get a study and make it the working system and break the bottlenecks and lower cost and make it go green and transform it to some projects that we can get research on. That's what we need to do on the very start. So we are collaborating with the study institutions, and we have built two apps with new functional and special products. And we continuously thinking about how to transform to green and digital state. That was the first part. Second, to build mechanism of green and transforming to connect. So in this part, the collaboration stands in strategic thinking, and then gradually you need to take measures to implement. We were doing some research of low-carbon products and recyclable materials, and the dynamic demand for energy saving and the demand and data collective and production and utilization chain is built in this process. And during the cooperation, by the way, thankful this platform, and we have collaborated with Siemens and other speakers. We have collaborations, and it enables us to meet the demands of the markets and then build mass production. Third, build standard mechanism to leading corporations to connect, to work together. So those 3 points seem separated, but I think they are connected and in a system. So the mechanism of collaboration from the reservation of mechanism of standards, so are very problems that corporations need to practice in different phases of their development, so that corporations know in the market, in collaboration, how they can improve their value. Thank you. Okay, thank you. AGC has established for more than 110 years, and we were material companies. So please allow me to talk something about in the material manufacturing. I think in that field, the hardest thing is to lab to the customer end, because it was workable in the lab, but in the customer end, you cannot get them very tangible in customer end. I have three ideas. One, in expanding the production technology, and second, the production of high pure materials, and this third is the control and management of high-end materials. And how to realize this? The first one is the digital twin technology, and in the lab we need to for the technology, for the thermal technology to find this problem in advance and monitor online, so we can collect more data, and in this way, by set the technology in advance. Third, build data, and so that we can make the experience into this data and make it a platform to facilitate production, make it steadily, and make the quality stable, and in upgrading of energy, so we can do more. So, thank you. All the guests has talked a lot more about from the foundation to the high end, the industrial development. Now we want to talk more about some specific questions. First, Mr. Zhou, I know your company has been focusing on the engineering and the intelligence. Will it be economically beneficial? It's a question, because the traditional heavy engineering, the upgrading, what's your core breakthrough? About digital and intelligent transformation, and how they enable the traditional engineering. We have 6 design institutions and some engineering construction institutions. So we have 2 breakthroughs. One is to enable our own company by intelligent transformation, digital way, 3D design to enhance the quality of our design and to enhance the efficiency. That's how we help our own company. And the second way is how we collaborate with the industry and AI, focusing on energy saving, low carbon, efficiency enhancing, and the scenario application to build value for our customers. That's how can we serve our customers. So a case is that what we are doing by visual system, we can monitor and assess the production line and improve the efficiency. And then we did some plants for the production, heating, processing. That's what we had applying this technology in this production, but for our design institutions, that's for the whole plants, how we can design different from the traditional ways. We have some basic digital ways, but not as upgraded to intelligent ways. Just Just as what the other speaker said, we have 15 some leading corporations. Now we have 5 head corporations, and we do it in high standard and establish the excellent level. But as physical transformation of the plant, we can do it as a research project. But to establish the standard for upgrading the plant. Another is that in the existing plant, we need to take gradual steps to upgrade. First is that the optimization of the foundation line and the realization of data collection is the key. And secondly, this data need to be standardized and managed so as to lay a foundation for intelligent upgrading, so to build this scenario. And third is to build this utilization scenario and data management in whole chain. By using the intelligent technology, we collaborate and integrate it into the industrial chain and enable the corporations to lower their cost. That's what we did in this field. So I have a further question. You have mentioned the optimization, standardization. So from the perspective of this industry, what we're doing in light of intelligence, the key in the future, and your cooperation in promoting the standardization of industry and synergy of corporations home and abroad. How can we help our corporations to integrate into the international supply chain? Because we have standards in national standards, but also international standards. So I'd like to hear about your take on how can we make values. Actually, in this time of digital and intelligent transformation, about the standard, no matter what products, they have a standard. But now we're facing a big challenge is that we need to integrate the digital and intelligent ways into our industry and make it into a higher level. That's what our big challenge is. How can we upgrade it? What we're doing is that we use technology to lead the standard, and after the practice, we can make it a standard. Only technology, but not utilization, it's hard to be a standard. So the whole plan is to, from traditional design to 3D design and digital production. We need to build a standard first for the industry, for the corporate, then for the industry, then for the nation. That's what we're doing in the standard leading. And through second, technological breakthroughs. In setting the projects, we aim to build a standard. The projects, the clients for these projects, they have some demand for green, low carbon, and AI transformation. And in these projects, from the lab to the production, we are building the standard. And we have other businesses that related to Belt and Road initiatives or other projects abroad. So in this process, we tried our best to introduce these standards because in this field we have the most advanced technologies, so the corporates abroad are happy to receive. But we still need to consider more about the local situations and integrate. So consider about the national standards and the international standards. We need to integrate them properly. Thank you. The key in the advanced manufacturing is AI. I'd like to ask Mr. Hu some questions first. The core of advanced manufacturing now seeing AI as a leading company in the AI application industry. As Siemens, what's your latest development and how do you think why we can't promote it in large scale? That's what I personally interested. Thank you, because we're talking about advanced manufacturing, the advanced productivity. The AI can be said as the very rare opportunity because here, just like what I said, we have been exploring this topic at the customer side, at office. They are very proceeding, and we use them. The development is quickly, and from capital, from talents, it has formed a very fast development trend. In the field of industrial application of AI in China, the categories and scale and the collaboration is at a very high level. So naturally, China is the best place to produce AI-affiliated applications, including industrial AI transformation. The potential is tremendous, and you have said that what's the bottleneck or opportunity challenges. I think if we compare it to the common consuming AI in the industrial scenario, the demand is different from our daily use or our office use. And the customer AI relies more on the big model of intelligent of information. But in the industrial end, we demand more about physical, some technological transformations. So today, in understanding humans' language, it's at the top, but at understanding the industrial technologies or the physical restrictions, it has some room to improve. So in this light, we have a lot of work to do. That's a fundamental question. Secondly, as Mr. Zhou has said, I think the application of data in industry, the flow of data and the high quality standard are different.
In the industry era, let's look at the high quality development, talking about a high quality data set, behind which lies the transformation of AI. How is the maturity of your data? And then we can talk about industry AI. For industry data set, let's look at industry know-how and industry knowledge. And we share the knowledge, and we want to ensure equal access to AI. In terms of the industry AI, for the industry tool, thousands of people are using the data, and for your PPT, for your Word, all of which would go back to the platform once you have used your Word. And now we need such an important engine. Third, in terms of the single point POC, to the large-scale expansion and application. In the industry scenario, it was quite complicated, right? We are entering in automation and digitalization. How about standardization? You have been talking about standards, right? Standardization and consistency are not matched very well. And however, through the industry generalization capacity, for example, the same quality inspection scenario, the same logistics scenario, such as quality inspection, we can use AI, and we can use the model for the detection and inspection. However, you should look at the specific scenario of compatibility. The fourth part is about talent, industry talent and internet talent are different, requiring different process of learning. For industry talent, we have a lot of seasoned veterans, right? For OT, this is a valuable asset, a vote of confidence for the industry talent. We're talking about industry AI, and sometimes we say it could be replaced by AI. However, the most valuable part is the technique by the seasoned veterans, and how we can use AI to connect the dots and the skills of these veterans, including embodied intelligence and industry AI. In the overseas market, we have the FDE model and paradigm. Through the frontier deployment of the engineers, they fully understand the business demand, and they can fast building the industry model, and they can promote the application and adoption of the AI. And personally, I engage in accelerator, and we have a lot of industry innovation enterprises. For the industry or for the group of people, if they want to succeed, they need to look at their commercial performance. How about technical performance? From technical performance success to business performance success, and then through business performance success, we can support technical parts. For example, we have some blockbusters, some very hot products. We can establish the business and technical accelerator, and I believe sometimes for innovation enterprises and startups, if they are the AI business, they don't understand industry. However, if they understand industry very well, in terms of the warehousing, the inspection of quality, their AI in inspection and warehousing can find no market. That is why we have a lot of work to do on our list. That is why we should look at our tolerance of error and the fundamental part, as well as data. From the single point verification to the implementation and to talents, I believe for smart manufacturing, industry AI innovation, and embodied intelligence, from innovation to business success, I believe we can work on that. We have a lot to do. Thank you, Mr. Hu. From industry AI, industry intelligence to solutions, Mr. Hu has shed some light on that. In terms of green manufacturing, it is an important part as well. I want to share with you that Mr. Zhai, for green manufacturing, is it cost-centered or the profit-centered? For example, in terms of the paper-making chain, to enhance the upgrading, upstream and downstream technical upgrading, How can we establish that responsibility, technical boundaries? How to unleash our own value?
好，谢谢主持人啊。刚才各位都分享了，那我想呢，因为
You have shared your different
在
ideas.
数字化转型的过程
We are in the
中，
process
那么我想
of
说，
digital
如果现在说
transformation.
智能化是大脑的话，
If
那我觉得绿色的
intelligence
应该是
is
属
a
于
brain, green
那
is a
现在呢，
blood,
大家都在谈一个
we are
融合，
talking about
融合的
integration.
通
And we should look at how we can connect
所以我想
the
对一个企
key
业来讲哈，就是说
junctures,
我
the
们
key
不应该简单地
linkages
就是
along
认
the
为是
chain.
多元化的经营，
Diversified operation or the extension of industry chain are crucial. It is the vertical integration. It is the ecosystem building. In this regard, I believe at this era, during the 15th five-year plan, we have the new environment and a new scenario, new context, and we should think out of the box, and we should look at how we can go beyond the traditional paradigm. As the leading enterprise, if you are the major business owner or the other owner on the chain, how can you become the organizer, or how can you empower others, serving as an enabler? I attended 3 important expos here, and I believe we should think about how we can enhance our integration. Yesterday we talked about plus. Different enterprises should engage in different practices. From my perspective, I believe manufacturing and service should go hand in hand. Real economy and digital economy should also go hand in hand and get integrated. Industry and finance should be integrated as well. Regional resources and global resources should be integrated as well. That is why, at the end of the day, we should go beyond the single model to create diversification. That is what we have been trying to do. As a moderator has been asking me for business development for the enterprise, we should focus on the 3 trends, and then we can enhance our development. In this way, in smart manufacturing, we can achieve intelligence. Digital integration can connect the dots along the whole chain. Digitalization and data and the whole chain, they should be connected at the same time. We should achieve from the delivery of value to the whole process traceability. In this way, digitalization and the whole industry can be enhanced. Second, green integration, and we should also enhance the competitiveness of the enterprises. Green is the important foundation. Based on this important foundation, we can enhance business development such as clean energy and energy conservation and emission reduction, and each ton of carbon footprint can be traceable and it can be referred to and it can be reviewed. With ecosystem integration, we can drive the coordination and a win-win for upstream and downstream partners. How can we empower them in terms of the resources, and efficiency, and the different channels? In this way, in the whole chain, we can adopt and enhance our vigor and vitality and resilience. For the high-end materials, internationally, it is a critical link. We are in the R&D research. We have the biomass and raw materials in terms of the raw materials innovation from the lab to the large-scale mass production, and we have a lot of challenges For example, we are engaging in the R&D major infrastructure from materials. We are also managing the Black Lighthouse factory. And for the high-end materials, in terms of the challenges, could you share with us? And the high-end materials are at the top part of the link at the downstream in terms of the carbon emission and traceable emission requirement. This could be very hard. And in terms of the source of the raw materials for the downstream manufacturing, how we can empower them? And we have two questions here, and the first question, in terms of the raw materials R&D, I believe we are facing the historic opportunities. Previously, we focused on the different recipes, and then with time going on, we can accumulate our own resources and our own recipes with AI and industry AI. We can speed up the raw materials R&D. The greatest challenge is that these different materials should be designable and should be perceived, and they should be integrated. If you have the data integrated with the AI and algorithms, we can have the new raw materials R&D. In the raw materials process, some countries and regions can achieve the cross-sector development. That is where we are heading. This is the first question. And previously, in terms of we are at the top notch of the industry chain, and we have our own R&D, and then we sell it to our clients. Now the whole industry system is changed from the upstream and the downstream of supply chain. Different parts have been connected. At the early stage, we work with our clients, and we can collaborate with each other, and we can formulate standards, and then we can enhance the raw materials, and we'll also work with our competitors, and can reduce the raw materials and the cost and the future model prediction, and then we can speed up the raw materials research and design. We are talking about the raw materials package. At first, the Americans have been talking about the raw materials DNA genome, and we are also referring to this concept of materials genome, the DNA group, and in this process, for the DNA genome, and we should look at the data. If you want to utilize AI, you should digitize your data, and then with digital twin, with AI, we can have the upgrading, and then we can also enhance the new R&D for the future model. We talk about 5 years or 10 years of raw materials, and we will work with our clients, with our collaboration. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for your sharing in the advanced manufacturing. How can we transform it into competitiveness? Very insightful. Thank you very much. Today, with the focus on the technological breakthroughs and transformation, you have shared your ideas, and because of the time, we'll call it here, and thanks for everyone. Thank you, dear guests, for your insightful sharing. And now we proceed to the second panel discussion with the theme of strategic for enhancing supply chain resilience under global industry synergy. And the host for this part is Mr. Li Zheng from Scientech Information Publications. And the panelists are Yu Feng, Hanwha Greater, China President, and 卡洛尔·伯利茨，施耐德电器全球知识产权副总裁兼首席知识产权顾问卡洛尔·布里茨女士，中国化工信息中心有限公司咨询事业部副总。From CNCIC, Ms. Shen Cuifang and Ms. Lian Rong, Vice President of Supply Chain Management, ZTT Group. Welcome. It's a great pleasure to be here to learn from this session, and I am a technical institute that focuses on technologies, and we have collaborated with some of the corporations like the Honeywell and Schneider, and this is an interesting topic. I think at the start we need to make clear the relative important time. Speaking of supply chain, in these years we have laid more attention on this, but traditionally we pay more attention to the equipment, software, and management. At different times, there is one point that we may see that in these years, some words that have negative meaning is over-competing. But this contributes to the upgrading for the industry. And with the upgrading, we have more room to compete. And the next topic is about the global synergy of the industry. And in this topic, if we're looking back, we have technological measure, RFID, and other measures that we can trace material from it enters into the room to assembly to the production, and we make it visible. And through mice and the PC-based and internet, we build disputable and with computing capabilities, we can collaborate these procedures systematically. And looking to the future, we have three key topics. One is going abroad, because if you don't go abroad, that's not possible. The Chinese manufacturing is needed internationally. And the second is the empowerness of AI. And the third topic is about emerging industries. That's interesting, because like the new energy vehicles a few years ago, it may be talked less, but now it's very prevailing, which depends very heavily on the manufacturing, including the industries like related to the guests on stage and down the stage. Because of the time, so I will ask a question, and please answer this as your turns. Well, speaking of this topic, first I'd like you to share your upgrades or experience or some questions you have found in your own company. The first question is, how can you understand with the backdrop of the prevailing AI transformation, the corporations, including our own corporations and that of the customers, what's their new demand for the supply chain service? Well, maybe I think it's be more stable, resilient, with the advantages or characteristics of your corporate in this supply chain area. What's your latest outcome? And what's your experience that worth we learning from? Mr. Yu, please. Okay, thank you. It's a great honor, a great opportunity to be here. And to our understanding, the new quality, productivity related to technological-led development and in the global synergy context, it is demanded for corporations to transform from singular mode to collaborate with other corporations to serve the customer. The three common characteristics: one, be swift, because the technological development and upgrading is accelerating, and the corporations, including our own company, our business focus on local management research on the existing country, the policy of the country they are in, and for the 15th five-year plan outline, we have did a study on it to see the direction and the breakthroughs, opportunities. And based on the demands of the customer and the policy of the government, we need to, by the local teams and clients, we research, study them together, and to make technological breakthroughs and promote them. And by utilizing the advanced management system, HUS, we help ourselves and our supply management corporations to enhance qualities and efficiency. That's the first, being swift. And the second, low carbon. In the last 10 years, China has been talking about this low carbon, the dual carbon, that environment is more important than gaining money. So now we demand more for our corporations to be sustainable development, to implement in the real practice, but not just as a plan, but to resolve the real problems. We have done a lot in this because 60% of the global research resource is used to sustainable development, no matter for the aviation, fuel, CCUS, and carbon capture, and the existing building, low carbon demand. We are striving to implement these technologies locally and use them according to the demands of the corporations and the situations locally. So here we have another information that the oil from the waste oil be on the our food table is no longer possible because they are very expensive now. And now in China we have a project. There is a corporate in Jiangsu. They can transform from the waste oil to aviation oil. So the price has increased more than 40%. But the biggest problem facing this corporation is that they have not enough waste oil. So waste oil on food table is no longer the real case. So for the low carbon transformation, we're not asking for others but ourselves. We ask them from some green recognized corporations, and the competitive background is changing. We need to develop local supply chain to innovate with our clients and build the basic in China. And my colleagues and my leaders has talking a lot about improving the localizing or nationalization of this industry, advanced manufacturing, and for the components, for that pose a great demand for China's clients. For example, in this expo, we launched a product that a power transforming device that can be used on vehicles, so make the brake time of the vehicle less, which meets the need for the clients because of the temperature, the impact of temperature. And we collaborate with Chinese companies to launch jointly, and you can see it on our booth. So we deepened the cooperation with upstream and downstream corporations, and we have brought with Yangguang Electricity and Shenghong Corporation. That's one of the 10 top society-based corporations to tackle the problems, the predictable or unpredictable challenges, so to make our technology certain. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me to speak on behalf of Schneider Electric. In terms of key achievements and resilience, we hear these words a lot, whether it's from a Harvard MBA or from our executives, about what's resilience. We need to simplify. We need to work at speed. These are, how do I say it? As a practical attorney with an engineering background, I need to know what the message is or what the reality is behind those words of simplify, speed, and resilience in our global supply chains. And it has to be shown in the data, and it has to be shown in the results. And I think one thing that Schneider Electric has shown and brings to this panel is that we were the #1 Gartner choice for the best supply chain, and based upon the review of our peers. And that shows that we have a reality behind that messaging of simplify, speed, and resilience. But what does that look like for Schneider Electric? Schneider Electric is a digital energy management company along with industrial automation. We serve consumers with light switches and electrical sockets all the way down to advanced manufacturing, smart buildings, smart factories, all the way down to utility companies as well in providing their energy needs. And we're facing a new energy landscape across the world. It's a huge shift in terms of moving from AC current to DC current, as well as the new energy landscape with new energy forms with wind and solar and nuclear, as well as AI workloads are increasing at an exponential rate. And AI is not just a tool that we use for our customers within our business, but AI is our partner and our customer because we help them build their AI data centers and managing their power consumption. And through that, we've learned that the supply chain resilience can be improved through some new architectures and innovation of our company, which moves, let's say, modularity and prefabricated modules for modular data centers to be, the value is further up the supply chain within Schneider Electric as opposed to on-the-site customization. And that pushes that innovation further up into the company. as well as autonomous operations. We can talk about intelligent information and AI and data usage and metrics and all of those things. But how you use that in reality to manage your supply chain, to actually not just predict when there's going to be anomalies or disruptions or supply chain needs, but actually autonomously resolve that problem. And that's how we are doing that. We're already resolving those problems autonomously at 60% without human intervention. There's human oversight because obviously, as we all saw over the past few years with shifting tariffs, the marketplace is very volatile and you have to be on top of that. So data and models can help you, but if you have a fast-moving marketplace with changes in political structures or tariffs or taxes or regulation, you have to be responsive to that, and that's where the human innovation can augment AI and the models and the data, which are based on history. And last but not least, in terms of centralizing or regionalizing your supply chain can really bring to speed to your local customers, as many of our competitors and people in the marketplace know how to do. But there's a balance there in terms of relying on past experience, but also having the strength and insight to innovate where you need to. In terms of sometimes it does work to centralize, storage of what I'll call low volume inventory, and the faster volume inventory gets centralized at regional clusters. But even taking it that step further to first clustering the orders at what we call port hubs, and then taking those port hubs to sending them to regional distribution centers, and then having a fast lead time to our customers. And two of our factories have recently been listed by the World Economic Forum as lighthouse factories, and one of them has been decreasing that lead time to the customers by 37% based on some of these concepts that Schneider Electric has implemented. Thank you.
好的，感谢。有请沈总。
大家好。
Thank you. Mr. Chen,
问题的话，我理解分为2个方面。
this question has been divided into two parts.
理解一下。
First, we need to understand new quality productive forces and globalization. These are two trends for the whole supply chain. This is a new requirement. Second, in terms of our own conditions, in terms of the supply chain resilience and some results that we can follow for new productive forces and new requirement for new quality productive forces and supply chain. What is the relationship? And Mr. Yu has mentioned that new quality productive forces, it is based on sci-tech innovation. It is dominated by sci-tech, and the carrier is manufacturing green, low carbon is the core. And in the past few years, you can see the supply chain is quality first, scale driven, and this is logic. And you can see for new quality productive forces and new manufacturing business, this has changed our understanding on the logic of supply chain. For new quality productive forces, the supply chain, this could present a new requirement, as Mr. Yu has mentioned. Self-proprietary and self-control for raw materials and core component and equipment. For industry software, we have solved some bottleneck issues. We should also go beyond some boundaries. Second, we should talk about coordination and synergy of R&D. Previously, when we talk about supply chain, we believe it is only about sales and purchase, and now it's not only about transaction. We should also look at the globalization and the new quality productive forces. In terms of our R&D, it is co-R&D in terms of the supply chain, supply side and demand side, upstream, downstream. We can develop new products, new processes, and new applications, and new products and materials. For the upstream and downstream, we have been collaborating with each other. That is why this new requirement is synergy in R&D. Second, In terms of green and low carbon, I believe in terms of these two trends against this background, in terms of low carbon, let's look at our carbon footprint. And the carbon footprint is crucial in terms of circular economy and clean production. This is a new requirement as well. That is what I want to share with you in terms of the three aspects of requirement. And we are the think tank, we are the third-party consultancy firm. And in the past few years, in terms of the supply chain resilience and the supply chain improvement, we have engaged in them. For example, for the biopharmaceutical companies, we have worked with them. And you can see we can help them establish bases at home abroad. They can use license out method in USA and China to enhance their resilience across the supply chain. For some petrochemical industry and chemical engineering companies, they have the production base in China. At the same time, they can build some production bases in other countries and regions. They have the 1+N base model. They have the core base here in China and satellite base in other countries and regions. This is a 1+N model. Third part, for some auto companies in China, the auto-related industry chains, in the past, in terms of the industry chain resilience, they have done a lot of work. China is their core base. At the same time, in Southeast Asia, in Africa, they have built their own factories and base as well. For example, some assembly plants and core components, parts, and factories. That is why, in terms of the supply chain resilience, we are also supporting them with new progress and a new model. Actually, in my company, we produce cables and optical cables and undersea cables, light cables and optical cables. And you can see CTT Group is also engaged in global supply chain in Middle East, in Asia, in Africa. We have established our own production bases there. In this expo, we have launched the 1788 optical fiber here as a global premiere and a global launch. During this expo, we want to improve the improve the supply chain resilience. We want to go into three aspects. First is global deployment. Second, we should need the intelligence and the smart operation, supply chain, and our raw materials and logistics and to partners. We should look at the information sharing among each other and a quick response. Energy crisis and geopolitical crisis are the reality. We need to look at a digital method to look at a fast prediction and a fast decision making. And second, coordination and synergy are crucial. We work with our suppliers, such as Schneider Electric. We have over 20 years of great cooperation with each other. With our strategic partners, we share our information. They have the confidence in investment. At the same time, we can also gain the benefits through these three aspects. I believe ZTT has done this kind of practice. I believe you have shared your ideas from different dimensions. For example, you have talked about global leading suppliers. You have shared with us your development. At the same time, the third parties, consulting firm, think tank, you have brought a vision for users with your own reality. You have your own ideas. Second topic, in terms of the resilience, I'm very interested in technical part. At the technical level, I hope that I can understand the technical parts and then I can promote the communication of my brand. We talk about automation, digitalization, and smart intelligence. The prerequisite of smart intelligence is about integration. For different enterprises, and from your perspective, whether it is the previous businesses, we serve the users, we work with our consulting firm with the consulting plan, and the reality in our manufacturing in terms of the technical integration. What is your take on that? How can you solve the technical integration? We are talking about the industry parent machine and the tooling bed, pneumatic bed. And you can see we have moved a long way in terms of the modern manufacturing business. And we should look at the vibration control of the machine. Sometimes you cannot simply rely on the vibration or lubrication to achieve the machine development. Through experiences, through intelligence, through AI, we can gain further development. In this process, we are also facing some challenges. For some companies, they have the data, they don't have the ability to change the data into the algorithm or into the model. This would require, or into the algorithm. This would require the investment and cooperation with the technical companies. For some companies, they have smart application. However, their work is different from the pneumatic bed and tooling. In terms of the weighted parameters, they need support from the suppliers and the users in promoting the integration and next stage development. Could you share with us your confirmed or prioritized trend? Or could you share with us some efficient actions that can be sustained or that can be promoted? Thank you for your question. For industry machine, it is not the expertise of Honeywell. And we are in the business of automation with 100 years of history in complex working condition and working load, how to better achieve automation with better control and better management. We have over 100 years of history. I want to talk about two examples we have launched here in the Expo. Yesterday, we launched two solutions here. One is the process working condition. We work with Shenhong Petrochemical Company in Jiangsu province. 20 years ago, we started our cooperation. They are our partners and clients from sales and purchase. They have the project. They would select our process and our control solutions. And 5 years ago, we started our cooperation. One is the digital twin project. They selected one complex process. It is called PDH. And the propane decrystallization process, PDH, and through our cooperation, we work with each other. And the day before yesterday, we launched automated navigation or operation navigator system. What it is about, we utilize Shenhong Petrochemical Company real operation in practice in manufacturing. Each second, each minute, they have a lot of data in production. Our process and our digital twin and their local AI have been integrated. 3 or 4 parts have been integrated within 1 year. We have been doing that. We have been researching that. We have been testing that. That is why the day before yesterday we have launched it here. Petrochemical products should be warm. Sometimes with little bit of error, we could suffer the disaster. That is why we have been very cautious when we do the test and then Shenhong decided to purchase another 2 sets of the systems with the operator navigation system with automation and self-proprietary technology with a white book launched here. More people can understand it. Very interesting part is that we can gain economic benefits. We can use AI into the physical world, we can push it into the process, and we can deliver real economic benefits. Within 1 year, economic investment return is 4 times of the investment return, 4 times. AI is not only about investment, it can also bring a lot of economic benefits. It can also be sustained for each hour. It can save 6.5 tons of the vapor. This is related to green and low carbon. This is the first case for the ultra super large process industry. Second, for middle scale enterprises and business, as the moderator has mentioned, we should look at the platform. Internet companies have the platform based on which we have 100 years of history, right? We have a lot of industry and architecture, application scenario. I arrived here in Beijing during the Spring Festival, and I usually work. I'm based in Shanghai. I worked with Feishu. They have a lot of paid users starting from February. Now we have promoted the product. The Honeywell awarded a product on the Harvard review. Our own set of management system, refined management and the implementation system for manufacturing business, they have been integrated into the Feishu platform. It has been launched the day before yesterday. Feishu is owned by the internet giant, and we hope that we can have 10,000 companies using the internet innovation. And you can see one feature is that in their own management system, they will add some conservation calculator. With the saving calculator, you can do your project and you can calculate the money each month, each quarter, each week. You can calculate the money. Our target is that 3 to 5 times of the annualized return on investment. AI is cool. AI is not only the trend. AI can help you save the money with business return and investment return. We are working with the business and the internet giant here in China. We have been working with large companies and middle-scale companies and SMEs. Let's work with each other for the future business and product launch.
Thank you. As I was saying before, we can talk about resilience, but I'm glad that you've asked for more details. But I'm not a global supply chain expert. I'm just the IP attorney. But I can share some of those trade secrets with you after we sign an NDA. But all lawyer jokes aside, I think one of the fundamental things about these buzzwords that we hear is that you actually do have to think big, but you actually have to take action. In terms of, we've been hearing about sustainability and carbon footprints. And in 2021, Schneider Electric, in the middle of the COVID crisis, when global supply chains were collapsing worldwide, decided to launch what we call the Zero Carbon Project. And we didn't quite know exactly what that was, but we knew what we wanted to achieve in terms of sustainability, both at our company and in our supply chain and with our customers and for the world. And how that all came out was a huge plan about, well, how do we measure baseline? What are going to be the metrics that we all agree upon that we're going to measure? And then based upon that, set the baseline, develop the tools to automate that measurement and come to a common agreement. But also in terms of developing training courses for our supply chain so they could better understand what that carbon footprint looks like for them in reality. It's one thing to talk about carbon footprint or sustainability, but really having someone who's a world expert in it. We've been listed as the #1 most sustainable company in the world multiple times by Time magazine. But we're not here to measure or judge our supply chain. We're here to help them move forward. And what we've done over the past 5 years, since 2021, with our training programs, with our dashboards, with our tools, that we have now increased or reduced emissions by over 56% in just 5 years. And that's over our top 1,000 suppliers for Schneider Electric. And that means that there are 195 zero CO2 sites, 176 waste to resource sites, 100% biodiversity programs, access to energy for over 61 million people, And that means that we've also saved over 862 million tons of CO2. And so those results, through our supply chain and our leadership and our partnership, we've been able to have a huge impact in just 5 years.
This question is related to three aspects: intelligence, green, and integration. I will talk about intelligence.
With our experience for intelligence, we have a very deep understanding of this change. Traditionally, on the end of manufacturing, the intelligent transformation seemed to be very not close, but now we're using it. And the outcome is very good. And some of our clients are in the auto field, and when building their plants, they will build black plants. And one is the save of human resource, save 65%, and the outcome increase for 30 to 50% in utilization, in the safe production, and the radical example. That's the benefits for them. So I think the intelligent transformation is the foundation for the safe production and efficient production. Now we talk about energy. Low carbon is the benchmark, the threshold for the corporations, home and abroad, to enter into this industry. And the integration is an important way for industrial upgrading. And for our research team, we have done a lot in the advanced manufacturing, and in the past years we have done some projects from governments in terms of biological manufacturing, and we plan the ways to lay out. And now we are focusing on large-scale production, and some changes have been happening. And in the past years, we see that this industry is very hard. Some success corporations have very few successful cases. The reason is that this industry is very integrated, which is a very related topic to our theme. So it's related to biological fields and material fields with many different industries. So it's not just as easy as related to just one sector, because it's very comprehensive and you need to utilize it into different scenarios and integrate different industries. So in different phases, we lay more focus on the research and development. But traditionally, we have little direction because of the cost, the problem cost, so the competitiveness is very low. And also because of the function or the purchase willingness of the customers, and also the concern of the safety or the trust from the customer side pose challenges. That's our opinion. Thank you. Okay, thank you. It has been mentioned about the intelligent transformation and integration. We have 4 business: communication, electricity, and transportation. And in this year, we have built the digital industrialization business to monitor the production, the utilization of the equipment of our related corporations, to analyze their using data and to improve the level of digitalization in our corporation. And you have talked about ESG and low carbon. It's the global trend within the green supply chain. means competitiveness for cooperation. Our company, in the last 2 years, we have provided to Finland more than 4,000 tons of low-carbon materials and lowered the carbon emission for a large scale and got their recognition. And so in this part, we have given them the real benefits, and we have increased our competitiveness. And we gained the biggest market in the field, and in this we can show our value. Okay, your successful cases or your outcomes is very sufficient, persuading, and very insightful. But sometimes the successful cases or experiences are not very easy to implement to others, but some obstacles you have experienced may be insightful mode for our learning. So in this process of upgrading the manufacturing level, have you got some typical questions? How these questions can be enlightful to our other industries? Do you have some typical cases? Or from your perspective, can you give us a suggestive or experience some solution? So as a time-honored corporation, we have some successful cases, but also some less successful experiences. At the end of 2021, I came from America back to China, and it was the COVID-19 pandemic, and the government, for the health of people, they have some sectional measures, and they lock some places, cities, regions to protect people. But then comes the problem that the circulation of warehouse, because we have little warehouse, so it poses challenges to our traditional advantage. So at that time, with my team, we took the measure of asking all the plants, factories in China to increase warehouse for 1 month. But soon we found that 1 month is not enough. So we proposed that was not enough. So then with one component, we give large-scale production to increase one supplier. So for one component, 2 suppliers. Not just in one city. They need to separate into different cities. So that's emergency measure for the specific situation. But then we found the advantage. One is it increased our resilience. So for one component, 2 suppliers in different cities. And the second is that the purchase cost has been decreased. So that was our case. Sometimes a good measure in emergency can be an opportunity.
Thank you. I think I'm going to take a different approach to this. Being an attorney that I'm here, my job is to also manage risk. And one of the risks, we've talked about COVID and we've talked about supply chain disruptions with tariffs and politics and other things that can happen, and we use AI and data intelligence and resilience to help resolve that. Lawyers are your friend as well. And how we can help mitigate the risk in that global supply chain is one of the biggest risks that's happening, and you've heard us all talk about it, is all of these pieces of our advanced manufacturing, of our supply chain are connected. And that's all through the Internet of Things and connectivity networks like Wi-Fi, like Zigbee, like cellular. They're all talking to each other. We're all using video to communicate or do human safety intervention. All of these are based upon standards. And if you're as old as me, you'll know that the cell phone wars based upon 3G, 4G, 5G have been going on for more than 25 years. And that's now coming into the industrial world with industry, Internet of Things. That already we've seen it enter the car market, and now it's going into the EV market, and it's going into smart manufacturing next, and healthcare. And why is this a risk? Why am I bringing this up? Is because when these IP litigations happen in forums like Germany or China or the US are the top 3 IP litigation forums, what often happens is that there will be an injunction, which is a big legal word that means you stop manufacturing and you stop selling, which makes your chief of operations and your CEO a little nervous when you can't manufacture anymore and when you can't sell anymore, because you have included either in your manufacturing line or in your products these various connectivity standards. So how do you design to manage this risk? Well, you can get licenses for all these technologies, and you can do that. Huawei has a great program. It's published online, but other things that you can do is think about how you can design for that risk. And I'll give you an example. If you have, let's say, 4G integrated into your product, and then someone sues you and gets an injunction and you have to stop manufacturing or sale, how do you take 4G out of your product? Is it in a modular component? Do you have to recertify when you pull that component out? And what does that mean for your manufacturing line? What does that mean for your testing line? And what does that mean for your sales and your obligations for your customers who wanted it last Tuesday? And so this is where your legal team can help you look forward to that risk, but bring it back to the design stage and the architecture stage to help you manage and mitigate that risk, because you don't want to be caught in the middle of that litigation from some 4G or 5G patent owner and facing you can't sell in Germany or China anymore, period. And so thinking about these new challenges, and they're existing for many decades, as I've said, but they're new to our industry because we're building in IoT and connectivity and interoperability. And so that's where my past experience is helping mitigate this challenge and address that going forward.
我想分享的案例是，
I'd like to share a case. In the year 2020, we got a demand from our clients, and also in recent years, they still exist. They come to us and say, I think the market in domestic market is too competitive, and I want to go abroad. In the past years, there was a high time for going abroad for outboard investment, but we asked them, so do you know the policies or some other environments? They had no idea. But so in last years, we helped them to do a lot of work, like before the investment, during the investment, and after the investment. Before that, we analyzed the environment and assessed the risks. Because you need to do that before you invest. There are many products, chemical products, they are integrated. You need to consider what products you want to sell abroad and what kind, and then what will go later, and what's the policies? We see that some corporation has done investment and then they were not happy because the environment was not that good. The political, economical policies, especially the supporting service for the industry, they asked us to analyze for them the resource, the people, talents, and they then think about can some equipment be transported to the foreign countries, and after investment, you need to consider whether your plan was the optimized and how to optimize it after that. That was the questions we have met. And during 2022, we have helped some corporations to, like that in Africa, we have done this work for them, but some still are not doing well, because we need to consider more aspects and give sufficient thinking of this to find the most suitable one. Okay, I want to talk about our practice in the past with the development for wind power. We have a material in Europe because in the past the demand was not that big in China, but during 15th five-year plan, the demand increased remarkably, but the production power is limited. So the concern was they concerned that the investment was not sustainable. So many times we have analyzed and share our projects during the 15th five-year plan, and to give them confidence for investing in these projects. So the resilience of the supply chain lies not only on our own deployment, but also that of suppliers. So during our cooperation over 20 years, they have investment plans in these 3 years, and after the analyzing with the forecasting of the development in 2027, they will finish their layout in Middle East investment, so we can increase our resilience in the supply chain. Okay, thank you for your sharing, for synergy, collaboration, innovation, and integration of technology and enhancing resilience and your expectations, and I hope your opinions are insightful for our friends here, including the friends online. So that's the end. So please take your seats. Thank you.
Thank you so much for all the great insights. 谢谢各位嘉宾的精彩发言和分享。
Now we proceed to the third panel discussion with the theme of industrial policy and ecosystem construction driven by new quality productivity. And the moderator of this part is from Mr. Gao Yulong, and the panelists are Ms. Li Jing, Vice President of China Academy of Materials, Ms. Jing Ling, Brand Communication Officer of Green, Mr. Wang Qiang, Vice President of Alibaba 1688, Ms. Pu Yao, co-founder and the CPO of Puchira. Welcome. Distinguished leaders, guests, good morning. Now we quickly start our panel discussion, and the theme of this part is industrial policy and ecosystem construction driven by new quality productivity. Here we have invited experts from four different industries because of the difference in our industries. So our discussion, we will ask questions targeted. So these speakers are from Academy of Machine Tools and also the four different corporations. First, we invite Ms. Li Jingying, Vice President of China Academy of Machine Tools. As you have engaged in this area for many years, you have gained a systematic understanding of this industry. So the first question, so the machine tools, what is utilization scenario in this? Okay, thank you. For the machine tools, the scale of it is not very big, just 160 million. But for the whole machinery, it has played a big role. And in this industry, it belongs to a tool of new quality productivity, and it can promote new quality productivity. In terms of itself, for the upgrading, we have some new challenges and projects to do. We think the two most important parts is that the foundation ability upgrading is needed in this field. In recent years, the nation has laid attention in this field, and just now we heard a lot of this topic in recent speeches or remarks. Actually, for its own construction capability, we have a long way to go, like the foundation research for the theoretical research. That's what our disadvantage lies, and we need to collaborate with some study institutions and innovative platforms and labs to help cooperation, help the industry to do a lot of work. And some other key sectors like the core components and high-end assembly machines and components. So in the foundation level, we can produce them, but the reliableness is still has room to improve. So for itself, our ability for technological R&D and assembliness, we need to enhance our capability. So the foundation production is the key for new productivity, and the innovation-driven technology is very important for the new quality productivity, and the planning or design is also an important sector in this process. The big data enabling from driven by experience to driven by data. The basic components we need to improve, and we need to do intelligent transformation and auto learning and auto decision making. So that's a big direction. So from this perspective, I shared my, that's all. Okay, thank you. The second question for Ms. Jingling from GRI. As we know, as a leading company in home appliances, the components production, research, and green recycling production has been a very systematic experience. With AI and industrial network, technology. How can you take your successful experience to be applicable to other corporations and in the transformation from suppliers, from a production to suppliers, how can you improve your service for the customers? Thank you. It's our first time to come here at the Supply Chain Expo, and here we proposed 4 chains: global chain, industrial chain, intelligent chain, and eco chain. So in November 2025, we have been listed as a leading intelligent plant. At that time, our project was selected by different levels, and our project was at the highest level, and we were the only corporation listed in Guangdong province. And so, what is the standard for leading plant? You may know us by our air conditioner, our home appliances, but actually our smart equipment, our intelligent plants are also leading in the industry, just like the intelligent plant I talk about. You may say few people in a very big plant, and most sectors in automatic assembly, and the automation rate is over 80%. It's like industrial brain. All the procedures are transmitted and decided by the intelligent system according to the data. It's like an intelligent brain. It automatically controls this assembly process, and when you enter into that plant, you may say the transmission rate is highly quick. So the upstream corporations can see the information timely, and all the corporations can react quickly according to this data. So our management efficiency has been increased 100%, and the production efficiency increased by 200%. It integrated into the whole process. For example, like in the quality assessment part, we have selected 300,000 data to train the mode in our AI process, is so that it can be very senior. It's like a senior employee in our company. It can detect any minor error timely. So the accurateness of the detection is over 99%. And this year we will give it the AI smart systems, like adding eye on it, so as to detect error more timely. And we are not just use it in our corporation, but also can sell them to other corporations, like some plants, some auto, and in schools, on ships. And we have over 100 different assembly equipments. For example, Tesla is one of our clients. So in this whole chain, we use our data, technology. We experiment it in our own corporate, and then we make it replicable cases for our upstream, downstream corporations. That's our value. Thank you very much for your complete and detailed introduction. Now, the third question is from Mr. Wang Qiang from Alibaba. As we know that your company as a leading supplier platform, you have been in the national industrial belt and enable the AI transformation for corporations. So in this transaction management business, how can you enable all the upstream and downstream small and medium-sized corporations to build this ecosystem? Thank you. In past, to be purchased, they have to go to the fairs, the markets with low efficiency and lack of trust basis. With this year's, with the increase of purchase of this year's, they based on their demand, they have an agent. It can not only detect their demand, but also predict their demand in the future. With the supply and demand sides chains. So we build an agent-to-agent network, and in this process, by a client expressing demand, give it to agent, and then they find the supplier. So today, we will launch an agent called Newton. In the past, the purchase is that people come to find the goods, but now goods comes to people. So from end-to-end transaction, we can complete it by agent. Today for plants, it has helped plants complete transaction, but also help them to manage, to make decisions, because we know from a very start in the plant, production to service, all decisions can be made by AI nowadays. So at present, the most challenging scenario to be a situation is the uncertainty, the quality, the service, the price. So today, for 1688, in facing these challenges of the clients, we build a standard for service, including price, including quality, which can meet the existing purchases from level B and many data. Based on these qualities, we will increase the efficiency of the synergy, and for more supply chains, industrial chains, to collaborate, to promote more orders for corporations, and to give every plant a brain that can make auto decisions. Okay, thanks for sharing. Now let's welcome Ms. Pu Yang. We know that your company focuses on the big data development. So the question is, if we deploy this data on the auto platforms, the core is the technology or the appliance or the production, and how your company break the barrier from technological transformation to test to the production. Okay, first, our company is a very small-sized company. Our biggest client is Toyota. and including Lexus. As a small company, how we accomplish that, the key three aspects. One, at the auto side, we need to transform the chips from the very foundation. So we integrate our computing capability with the chips and train the model. So that's why how we can got this big client from the other competing from other country corporations. And second, the success lies in our talents. We have a very powerful team, from the engineering to management to test. We have guaranteed the high demanding standards to meet their concern for safety accurately and swiftness. And the third, we have separate the models and the equipments. So in the future, if there is a change in our modes, we can transmit it through OTA and upgrade the modes in the auto side to enhance the accurateness. So that's our experience, but the most important one, I think, is not AI. We're not a computing company, but we can collaborate properly by computing and talents resources. Thank you. The first round of panel discussion is and now the second round, and we need to focus on the industrial policies. Okay, Ms. Li. At present, the government has launched some policies to promote the incubating of the machine tools. So what are they? Okay, thank you. In the first round, we have talked about, in recent years, we have laid much attention in machine tools, and Secretary Xi Jinping has gave many important directions in this field. It is like the core hub to support our R&D and application. We think from 14th five-year plan to 15th five-year plan, we enter into the best time of development, and from 2009 to 2019, we have got big support that we have solved the problem of from the 0 to we can use to utilization. So we have got a lot of support. First, in 2023, there was a top-level design document launched. It directed the development in this field for 3 years. Last year and this year, we are engaging in a new round of high-level development plan in machine tools, and later we will launch it, which will be the direction for another 3 years. And there are some actions I'd like to introduce, including the breakthroughs of the whole chain and some special supports. And second is for the utilization. We will promote the R&D and the high-end machine tools. We can use them in some key areas, so there will be some policy supports. And the technological innovation and efficiency increasing, we have co-built some platforms to and some key labs.
We have the National Key Lab, National Innovation Platform. They have built the industry machine tool system, and how the system can be fulfilled and it can be used for new benefits of the machine tool. I believe we should think about the efficiency and effects of the machine tool, and we have the quality cultivation program for the quality companies. In recent years, we have a lot of enterprises with new development. In recent years, you can see some users have also been making their own machine tools, such as GREE, the AC air conditioning maker, and they have a lot of machine tool by themselves. They can also build the machine tool based on their own scenarios in the factory, whether it is a user client or the machine tool client or the industry client, they can work with us. And we have the quality improvement program as well, and high-end talents cultivation and policy support. Because for industry machine tool, the talents are desperately needed. That is why in the near future, in terms of the industry innovation, we want to support the enterprises to cultivate the high-end and technical workforce for machine tool. This is about the top-notch design for the machine tool. In terms of specific projects, such as the large project from 2009 to 2019, and in 2024 we started our project, and it has finished by 2034, and 2 million RMB has 20 billion has been provided by the government to support the industry machine tool. What is about the OEMs and the functional components. In the first stage of the special campaign, we have 195 projects. Now in our academy, we're also supporting the MIT to start the deploying of the second stage. In this process, we can look at the value added and R&D expenditure reduction or deduction for the taxation. And several hundred machine tool companies have enjoyed tax preferential treatment. Sometimes they can enjoy about 100 million RMB in terms of the tax rebate or tax support. We have the financial support as well, such as the Industry Machine Tool Foundation, 15 billion in the first phase. This is also tremendous support. For phase 2, we can start the project as well, and we have some application as well, such as the policies. And in terms of the functional components, in MIT, we're also promoting the supply and demand side matchmaking. We have also supported a lot of equipment upgrading and files backup projects. Thanks to the national support by 2023, in terms of the National Innovation Academy, on the one hand, we can support the innovation. Second, for the major special campaign, we want to support the whole industry technology and the advanced results. And you can see in the past few years, we support the national industry. That is what I want to share with you in terms of the industry policies. Thank you for very systemic and comprehensive introduction. Now let's welcome Ms. Jingling, Brand Communication Officer of GREE. GREE has been working on machine tool with your new foods through core components to end products. You have the vertical integration. In this vertical integration process, how can you build the proprietary whole industrial chain, industry system. At the same time, faced with the global supply chain fluctuation risk, how can we ensure the global supply chain risk and resilience against different risks? Thank you, Mr. Gao. This is a message we want to get across to the other side. During my stay here in the Expo, global chain, industry chain, supply chain, and smart chain. When talking about the products upgrading, Mr. Gao has also echoed this question. Our industry chain has been quite crucial. Many people have only said we has produced AC and household appliances. Now we have the full-fledged supply chain from core components to end products to smart equipment. We have the industry scenario and ecosystem. Sometimes people say, you are the household appliance maker, why do you engage in chipsets? It's not our proactive action. It's not that we want to pursue the trend. We are forced to do that. Our chairwoman, Ms. Dong Mingzhu, has led us to fight at every opportunity for every bottleneck project, every bottleneck technology and business. We should start our own R&D and our own development. That is why when we talk about chipset, previously we simply rely on others. That is why from 2018 we started the chipset design company. From 2022 we have started the foundation. Within 380 days we started the production of the chipset factory. We are the very first fully automated third-generation chipset factory. We invested over 10 billion. Automation, automated equipment. We have 70% of the equipment are self-owned, self-researched. Automation and self-control and self-proprietary equipment, from materials to production to equipment to testing. This is a whole automation process. And in terms of the production, sometimes we say how many AC you have sold, and in terms of the heat pump and the washing machine, we have sold a lot of them, and we have sold about 300 million chipsets. Through our chipsets, we have shipped 2 million AC across the whole world, and you can see we use our own chipsets. We provided chipsets to our clients. Last year, we work with Shanghai Auto Company, CISCE, for the AC chipsets in the autos, in the vehicles. We work with them to provide the onboard AC chipset inside the car. That is why you can see in terms of the whole industrial chain, for all of the core components, we should have our own production. Our end products should be made by ourselves. Our smart equipment should be self-R&D. This is the circulation as well. In terms of external supply chain uncertainty, if we have the self-sufficient production, for example, we have our own PV AC, they have been promoted in the PV power generation base, and we have the smart micro power grid, and we can start our own power generation, and we can also have our own utilization. This is high automation. This is the green brand. Faced with the global supply chain, we should have the determination to do that. Thank you for providing the very solid and valuable experiences. The question will go to Mr. Wang from Alibaba. The domestic market is getting stronger. For overseas market, the structure has been changing for 1688. How can you support the manufacturing business to achieve international domestic business connection in terms of the cross-border business? What kind of innovation mechanisms have been provided? As you have mentioned, we have a lot of different demand internally. For external demand, it is rebounding based on different structures. In terms from April, we up by 0.2%, and for June, it is down by 0.6% in terms of the retail. In terms of the export in China in May, it is 13.8%. Previously, we talked about 3 carriages. Now, export has also driven our business development. Many SMEs in China have engaged in the business of internal, external development and import and export as well. We are facing 3 bottlenecks. First, the channels, trust, second channel, and the third, services. In terms of the channels, in the past, in terms of 1688, we focus on the internal trade. 35% of our trade on the platform of 168 is cross-border trade. One is exporter from China purchasing on the platform. Second, overseas purchasers purchase through the platform of 1688. For overseas purchasers, the growth speed was up by 40% last year. That is why we need to solve the channel issues. In the past 3 years, 1688 has occupied the local market in China. At the same time, last year, we have the national strategy, national station, and Latin America and Africa and Southeast Asia stations. All of them can enjoy the local service and the local purchase. Second, the trust for 1688. Now you can see we have 1 million merchants online in terms of their service capacity and their obligation and fulfillment capacity. We should look at the detection and then through the supply side capacity export for overseas purchasers and Chinese purchasers. They can also purchase the different products through the labels, and then you can also enjoy for the trust. So the part is about the fulfilled agreement and the commitment to the contract. We have the China logistic service. It's not about from China to the other side of the world. It's about the local services as well. Today, we have been working with cross-border services, and we work with them to support the business development. That is why from the merchants level, in terms of the capacity, we started operation. Second, from the overseas capacity. On 1688, we will not simply purchase the goods. At the same time, it should be delivered safe and sound in the warehouse. That is why for purchasers, in terms of the goods and the trust and the localization capacity, this is crucial as well. 3 years ago, we promoted 2 products. One is the Super Factory. We have over 1 million leading merchants online, and we also look at their cross-border service capacity. We build the Super Factory. At the same time, when they purchase online, they can also see the Super Factory. They see the label of the Super Factory, and then in the whole service capacity process, we can have the verification, and in this way, we can look at the new perspectives. Today, when we look at the overseas business doing the sales abroad, when they sell abroad, it's not only about the products, but also the services. And the factories can also sell abroad through our platform. Thank you, Mr. Wang, for your sharing of the solutions. Last but not least, the floor is yours, Ms. Pu Yao, co-founder and CPO of Puchera. For domestic OEMs of autos, when they use domestic AI, the pressure is from the upstream algorithms or the overseas data compliance requirement. Second, in terms of businesses, in terms of the cross-border cooperation and resources matchmaking, what are the cases? Could you share with us the cases? For Puchaya, we are different from other AI companies. We are based in Hengqin, Macau, SAR. In terms of going global, we have our own strengths, such as the Malaysian language and the Portuguese language advantage. Because we are in Macau SAR, we have some language advantage than that of over that of the mainland. In terms of the local perception, recognition, and synthesize engine, they are quite free. In terms of the data, at the local level, we have no safety issues. You don't have to transmit the data onto the cloud. In some countries, if they don't have very developed network, in terms of the local engines, they have the high requirement as well. Second, we work with the large OEMs, such as Toyota, Huawei, and the other large OEMs. We work with them to go global. That is why Puchaya is working with all of us to build the resilience of our supply chain. We do not simply rely on our own strengths. That is why we have been working with chipset factories abroad, because we need to migrate our algorithms onto the chipsets. The more chipsets we can support, that means that we can provide more solutions and we can support more languages. That is why, in terms of the supply chain, we can work with them. Thank you, Ms. Pu. Now let's enter the last round of discussion. We focus on the industry ecosystem and the business effects and efficiency. Ms. Li, in terms of the industry shortcomings, how to promote the industry machine tool high quality development, how to sustain the full stack for industrial chain, and what are the shortcomings along the industrial chain concerning machine tool. And you have mentioned the industry tools, machine tools, and we should look at the high-end issues. And at this stage, we should improve the quality and reliability of the products. It should be durable, and we should look at the higher level self-proprietary product for our supply chain. We should also look at the shortcomings for us, to look at the specific issues in terms of the functional component parts and OEMs. And the whole machine, we should look at the iteration upgrading process, the upstream and downstream, our auto companies and spare parts companies and supply chain companies and R&D institutions. We should have the interconnection with each other. MIT is also promoting the promotion of the different chains. The chain owners should work with each other. We should have the dual chain owners, and then we can promote the key component parts, and we can also improve the core technologies. From the chain owners, we can kick off the whole industrial chain, and we can promote the innovation along the supply chain. For the manufacturing businesses, we can elevate our production capacity. This is one of the shortcomings as well. And when you start the planning and a special campaign, we also select the PR demand from the machine tool companies. What are the PR requirements and the pain points? And sometimes we believe they can't propose some problems. They can, or requirements, they can only tell us the demand from the users. Sometimes they can't tell the specific issue or specific problem. And that is why for machine tools, in terms of the design, we should look at our ability of design and manufacturing, how they can improve their ability. If, for example, we can sell the machine tool, we can sell the product. However, in terms of the total solution and holistic solution, the OEMs would lack them. They don't understand the specific process involved.
And for the machine tools corporations, they need to improve their own capability to help clients to restructuring their lines. And finally, for the field of implementations, we encourage national corporations to give bigger room of their application for the high-end equipment to use, to upgrade, to enhance. So if the capability is enhanced, to provide for customers to solve their problems, to go abroad, to integrate into the global chain innovation. Okay, thanks. Now, Ms. Jing Lin, in this part, we focus on the energy system, the low-carbon recycling. In green, the recycling material, the resources recycling part, how did you build a circle? And with the policy of dual carbon, is there any outcomes that we can replicate? Thank you. That comes back to the 4 chains I talked about. And this chain is about ecosystem. The green connects to green future. At the front end recycling, we have 6 bases, covers more than 90% of national traceable network, and we have open platform called Mingzhu Recycling. So we collect the old and release the new. And for the prior end, the appliances or electric devices we recycled will be transmitted to bases and to process, like the old fridge or old home appliances will be recycled and reusable materials, and these materials will be recycled back to the production, so make it a circle from resource to product to recycling to green products. So this outcome, during these years, we have gained great outcomes. We have more than a lot of materials and saving a lot of water. So this data as a national brand, we have showed our capability in this green development. At the same time, that is the front share we recycle, and after we use, but in the production process, we have many green plants and zero carbon emission plants, and we can control them into the zero carbon emission level. And that is a demonstration plant or project nationally. So in this whole process, we have a recycling system that covers almost the whole country, and then we have the green plants, and then we have a recycling system. And these three parts are correlated economically and environmentally. So that's what we did. In this sector, I still want to declare that our booth is in W3. So later, after the event, you can see these 4 chains. And I want to promote some high-quality products. For example, the suit I'm wearing, if after wearing it, you will give it to dry laundry, but now in green, we have the product that can give you the perfect state for the clothes, and you can save a lot of money in this sector. And the flour, fresh flour, you put it in fridge and it can last for more than 20 days. And for the water superfire machines, like the water from Yellow River, then after a few seconds it can be purified into drinkable water. We have a lot like the good products. Hope you can go to our booth and learn more about our products. And our aim is to make the world love China's.
好的，非常感谢金玲女士，她的分享。您的分享也充分展示了咱们
We're sharing, which showcased the responsibility of a leading corporation and your efforts, your practice, and welcome to Greece booth and experience for yourselves. I have a supplement. We have our auto research cafe machine, and I guarantee that to 1 minute you will get a perfect coffee, which is better than any other brand, which is free. Welcome to try. Okay, thank you. Now, Mr. Wang Qiang. 2 questions. One is how 1688 by collecting the platforms and data to promote synergy of innovation, because that is a hot spot nowadays. And another is that with the eco service and to help small and medium-sized companies for their shortcomings. What's your successful cases? So our company connects at one end the customer and another the production industry, and that is the Chinese machinery and the Chinese consuming end. Today, the new quality productivity has a barrier for technology and profession. Although now the inward demand facing some pressure, but the technological barrier can be solved, and from the platform, we see that the one end is connecting to the China's manufacturing. So how can we collaborate better to promote overall development? Our company conducts the second earliest business, so we have accumulated a lot of transactions and data to transmit to up and downstream corporates. So the capability of connecting platforms and data Now we can transform it from a dot distributed to a network. So in Taizhou, we have launched the first national good selecting center, which was innovated by us and invested by the government, and the platform has supported the whole life cycle and operated with locally. In one hand, online we have the store and a physical store in Taizhou. We have a showcase room with physical products and with the QR code that you can make orders. It's like what you can do on Taobao. That's the connection. So today you can still, based on these orders, connect to these industries in Taizhou and distribute them into the manufacturing and supplement their production capability. So to better synergy with the demand, production, and service, the whole chain. Up to now, we see that the product selection center in Taizhou has been cooperated with over 500 plants, and on the platform it upgraded 25,000 SKU, and at the customer end, because of this production center, it promotes the development of upstream industries. You can see the whole industry of the models has synergy with the overall development with this development belt. We can see that in the past year, over 10,000 hot products, and help the local governments to introduce more investment. So we have over 30 production belt like that in Taizhou, with the synergy, upstream, downstream synergy, and middle stream collaboration based on our data and policy from the government, and also the practice capability, so can quickly replicate it to other production belts. So today, I think the biggest value for our company is that we can promote more replicable synergy cases for supply chain. So our biggest mission is not only help business in national corporations, but also standing here, we promote the synergy of the supply chain of the whole nation. Okay, thank you, Mr. Wang. The last question for Ms. Pu. Cloud AI is the basic technology for transporter technology. So it's not like the traditional, will not belong to the supporting policies of tradition documents. So what do you think is the support that your company needs? Is that for the standardization of the auto-based technology, or the association, or the platform? I think our biggest need is the association of the data, because all the technology is based on data. If we have a bigger association for data, we are willing to contribute our data, to collaborate with you, to share, so as to lower the cost of R&D and enhance the quality. Okay, thank you. And now let's thank you again for your insightful sharing. That's the end of our panel discussion. Thank you all.
感谢各位嘉宾的精彩发言与分享。女士们、先生们，先进制造主题活动到此已经全部结束。非常感谢出席今天活动的所有嘉宾和观众朋友。作为本次活动主办方，
As the organizer, we have launched a mini program to increase the service for the clients. So you can, through the mini program, you can search for the trade, the opportunities, and the high quality resources. Welcome to scan the QR code. Thank you for coming, and we thank you for the partners, ICBC, Bank of China, ABC, PICC, Bank of Communications, and the CISCE Group. Thanks for your generous support. Hope you enjoy good health and smooth work.
有序离场。